Welcome to the Motormouth YouTube channel. I'm Zach.
I'm Andrea.
What question are we at? 162?
Yes.
How do you get a question in, Andrea?
Follow along on Instagram at Motormouth_Andrea. Every Sunday morning I put a post out asking for questions. Once we gather them, the post is deleted and we start the show.
Time now for questions, coffee, and cars.
Your questions from Instagram.
We're looking at a 2021 Subaru Forester premium package for our daughter in college. What is your honest opinion of that car and its longevity? P.S. I went back and watched your review of the model and it seemed positive.
2021?
Yes.
Okay, now one thing you want to do is, it's now a 4-year-old car, is you have to get it inspected. And you got to make sure, I don't know the mileage on the car, but yeah, get it inspected by somebody that knows Subarus and find out the state of the car. I mean, it's one of the reasons why daughter's going to college.
Yeah.
Subaru Forester, good and safe. It's got very high safety scores.
Good all-wheel drive system.
Yeah.
So JD Power gives a 2021 Subaru Forester an 83 out of 100 for reliability, which is very good. Consumer Reports not as high, 66 out of 100, but owner satisfaction is 4 out of 5. The only complaint from Consumer Reports that I really see is engine noise, and that's one of the things that people complained about. Consumer Reports does have it on its recommended list, and driving experience is 76 out of 100, and comfort level 72 out of 100.
I could totally, like, back to my point, you've got eyesight, which is the forward collision warning system, is really good. And then the all-wheel drive, and then just the crash worthiness of the vehicle altogether. Subaru does very, very well on all those things. So safety for going to school, yeah, it's a good car.
I'd be pretty comfortable buying a 2021, but get it checked out.
Get it
of course.
inspected.
Got to get it inspected. Use 2022 BMW X5 or a GX460. I do 30-mile commute round trip, mostly highway. Do some driving to the mountains for skiing. Thoughts on which one?
Okay, GX460 is the last generation Lexus GX with the V8.
That's right.
And then what's the BMW?
Just BMW X5. I don't know. Maybe I would assume.
And they're going skiing with this?
Yes.
I put the handling winner is going to be BMW.
Hands down.
Because the last GX, it was kind of like, it kind of wallowed, and bad on gas. That V8 was bad on gas. But which one is going to be more reliable?
Well,
the Lexus.
The Lexus is going to be more reliable. Also, I think, I find the X5 to be very comfortable. I'm a big fan of that vehicle. And out of the two, that's the one I would pick personally based on driving dynamics and comfort level. But you're going to find that the GX is ultra comfortable, and when you're on the highway,
yeah, but the corners, it doesn't corner.
It doesn't corner.
It wallows in the corners.
But it depends what you like. Like, some people will say to me when we talk about the Lincoln Navigator, for example, I find like it really has that floaty drive, and they're like, but Andrea, I love it. So this really depends what you're looking for. They're so different.
And then the GX is more in the, it's a body on frame SUV that was derived for doing more off-road stuff, right? So if you're just using it to drive on road to the ski hill, it's maybe overkill to have that all-wheel drive system, or 4x4 system, I would call it, in a GX versus a very competent all-wheel drive system in the X5. So you have to decide.
My bet is X5. Thinking of buying a mini Countryman as a second city car for Toronto. Struggling if we should go gas or electric. Thoughts?
Okay. Okay. All right. So regular viewers know that Andrea is a Mazda fangirl.
Yeah.
She also loves the Mini
I
brand.
love
Loves
the
the
Mini.
Minis.
Would I go EV or would I go gas? The gas model is going to hold its value better than the EV. In fact, one of our viewers did buy the EV, and it has depreciated so much that he's not even going to trade it in. He's just going to keep
Ride it out.
Yeah, because he's lost too much money. So for me personally, oh my gosh, I love the gas model. It's engaging. It's fun. It's just a real blast to drive.
Okay, you got to do the gut check too. Are you ready to make that jump to get an EV? Do you have a plug and infrastructure at home to charge it? Because owning an EV without charging it at home is a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
So make sure you can do that. If you can do that and you're ready to do that jump, drive them both, lease them both, so you know the residual value at the end of the 3 or 4 years, and decide for yourself. We like the product, haven't driven the EV yet, but
No.
the Countryman video is on the channel.
Yes, and we did drive the plug-in hybrid, the older model, which was also terrible range, but also quite fun to drive. And that was a nice compromise for some if they don't want to go right to an EV. Love watching your show. What are your thoughts on purchasing hail damaged cars? Is it worth doing for initial savings versus possible difficulty reselling and other things? Experience with insurance issues, considering buying it outright, as seems might be issues to get it financed at a decent rate.
So you got to remember what you pay for it at a discount, you've got to pass that discount along to the next buyer. So if you're getting $5,000 off a car, it's going to be worth less in the used market as well. Selling a car with some kind of asterisk next to it, a certain kind of damage, is always tougher to move.
It's a tricky one. I get the deal that you're getting. Boy, after we got this question, I Googled hail damaged vehicles. There are a lot. And basically, they're asking for bids. And so you see a bid in $230. But these are not repaired. They have not been repaired. So I think, you got to think about resale value. Before you buy one, you should speak to your insurance broker about, will it be harder to insure? I have read online, and someone came out after, who is an insurance broker, and said it's important to speak to your insurance broker, because some of them will only offer third-party coverage, meaning if you get in an accident, that it will take care of the vehicle that you hit, and you're insured for that, or any property, but nothing for the vehicle
I think that's extreme.
that you have. But then the insurance broker came back and he said, well, that's not the case. In my experience, is that everything is covered, and then you get the value of your vehicle if it ends up being a write-off.
The thing is, hail damage isn't going to affect the structure of the car. The car is still sound. You get divots in the bodywork. And I know a guy here who does the paintless dent removal, or they go in with the little bars and they pop up all the dents. Someone dings their door. We've had this car actually right here had a big ding in the door, and they fixed it, and you can't even see it. So really good dent removal, paintless dent removal places can get rid of. But sometimes it's like the whole car looks like a golf ball. And they can, and sometimes they can't fix ones that are in hard to reach places for the little pry bars that they use. So structurally, it's not going to affect the car. I think insurance companies just don't want to touch them. But I would suspect that if you just bought a car and drove it forever, a hail damaged car is not a bad car.
No, and also if you do decide to buy one, double check also where the damage is, that there's no water seeping in that would cause any sort of rust. So just really do your due diligence.
Is it worth it,
on
Andrea?
the vehicle. I don't know if I would. I just don't know if I want the hassle of it, but the prices are very, very good. Like some people are saying, a vehicle that's only 18 months, there's like $10,000 off because of the damage.
Yes, but the thing is, okay, if you do your homework, you can buy a used car with low mileage for the same price, and it's going to be a better car financially when you go to resell it. Right? You've got hail damaged car that's 1 year old and it's $10,000 off, or you buy a 2-year-old car that's $10,000 cheaper, but no hail damage. Would this one be a better thing in the long run? I think it might.
It's interesting. Calgary had all of that hail damage in the summer. I guess it happened in August.
It happens there all the time.
Yeah, well, this one was really bad, and it hit home for us because our Scottish cousins were visiting, and also Zach's brother came from Ontario as well, and they had vehicles that they were renting, and there was hail damage, so they wouldn't release them, so they really struggled to get a rental.
A lot of the windshields were busted, though. That's why they couldn't rent them. And the other thing is, all the airplanes that were sitting on the tarmac, all of them had to be repaired. Like, I don't even know how you fix it. It has to be of a certain size for it to be airworthy. and the bigger ones had to be fixed. I don't even know how you do that with an airplane.
Yeah, I don't know. Hey,
They
great.
don't get in there with a little pry bar, Andrea. I don't think that's the way it works.
Hey, great show. Thank you. I leased a Ioniq 5, great car. But the buyout price is $36,000 post lease of 2 years. Lease was less than $300 a month in Idaho. So good deal there with 2 years free Electrify America, but not sure if buyout is good. Any point buying out EVs given there is huge depreciation? I think it depends. If you're going to buy it out, are you going to keep it long term? Because it will continue to depreciate. This is US dollars, so I'm trying to think what the Ioniq 5 actually started at in US dollars. I know Canadian dollars.
It doesn't really matter. I think what you need to do is just look at the marketplace and see what they're going for.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
You'll be able to see what the numbers look like, and if they're and then if they've got them for the same price as your buyout listed at dealerships, that's the retail price.
Yeah.
Remember, the wholesale price is less, and you're going to be able to negotiate it down. So yeah, I just think if you like the car and you think you want to keep it, you could just buy it out and run it into the ground. But yeah, you got to do some homework. What are they selling for in your neighborhood, and decide from there.
I've mentioned this before, but a viewer bought a used Ioniq 6, and he actually is really loving it. It's 2 years old. He bought it for 41,000 Canadian, all in. So that's a big hit for the original buyer of that vehicle, where he paid 65,000 Canadian. So it did depreciate. Depreciated a fair amount. I did say to this viewer, it will continue to depreciate, and he said, "I'm aware of that, Andrea. No problem. I plan on keeping it for an extended period of time." So it seems that it's worked well for him. Hi, Zach and Andrea. I own a Nissan Rogue 2021 SV. I'm in the market for a similar size SUV. I did not like the RAV4. What options would you recommend me to try, considering reliability, powertrain, and comfort? I'm open to luxury cars as well. Please give me your top 3.
Wow, that's a wide spectrum, Andrea. Luxury cars in there as well. I would say that the Korean cousin hybrids are excellent, the Tucson and the Sportage, and then the the CR-V hybrid.
CR-V hybrid. Now, you're saying luxury as well, and you're saying comfort and reliability. Why not go with a Lexus hybrid?
Lexus NX.
Maybe an NX, maybe an RX. I don't know what your budget is, but you definitely get comfort level with Lexus. You definitely get good fuel economy, that refinement, and then of course reliability. Hey all, tune in from Jersey City every week. My question is regarding touch paint pens. Recently, a couple of scratches on my 2023 Honda Accord Hybrid Sport have been bothering me for a bit, so I decided to take the plunge and spend $23 on an official Honda paint touch-up pen for my specific color. My question is, in your experience, have these touch-up pens historically held up well over time?
Yeah, they do. It's a bit of an art putting it on, and the one way I like to do it is, if it's a scratch, is put it on and then wipe the excess off and do that several times and kind of build it up. It's one of those things, depending on the scratch, you think it might not be able to be fixed, but a really good detail shop might be able to wet sand that area. I had actually the same color as our tops today.
Yeah.
We had a 911 when I bought it, had a scratch in the rear fender, and I thought, oh, there's no way they're going to be able to fix it. The detail shop, they wet sanded it. I couldn't see it. And the other thing is, they can also do what you're doing, is they put some color in and then they sand it again, and then they blend it all in. And wet sanding sounds like it's just such fine sandpaper that they're just scoring the clear coat on the outside. So it's an art to get it and to do it. But we had an old Toyota Tacoma pickup truck, and I did it. There was a whole bunch on the front, and I did it, and it held up really well.
Yeah, and I think, the option that Zach just gave is going to cost you more money than a $23 pen.
Depends how much it bugs you, though, Andrea.
Yes, but I think that the pens are good for small scratches, little chips, let's say. So our Mazda MX-5, the side view mirror, one of them, and it's black has maybe a couple chips. Anyway, it bugs me. It really does, because it's black and I can see it.
And it's brand new.
Yeah, and it really bugs me.
A stone must have hit it. So I would suggest, I'm not sure.
So we are going to do that. We're going to try and fill it.
No. We just buy a whole new mirror cap.
Oh, yeah, that's what they told us.
You buy a whole new mirror cap for $69. I'll see your 23 and I'm spending 69.
Yes.
So if it really bugs you, and these sorts of things drive me crazy because I'm a little on the cars, they got to be just right. So I would suggest, if you're gonna do it, you put a little bit on and then wipe it.
Yeah.
The excess off, and you can build it up slowly, or get the pros to do it.
So it's funny about the chip on that side view mirror. We did go to Mazda and ask them, like, what can we do about this? Can we get the pen? How do we match the color? Blah, blah, blah. And then he just said, don't bother, just buy a new one. It's going to cost you this much. And we were like, oh, great. So that worked out well for us. But we might get other chips on that red paint.
No.
X5.
No, it's going to get the PPF put on the front.
We need it. We need it on that little car. Love your videos. Parking lots on highways are filled with vehicles that have boring colors. Black, white, and gray dominate. Why aren't more options offered by manufacturers? There may be an additional color offered at a top trim level, but that's about it. Any thoughts on this?
Do you know why they go with the boring colors? That's what sells. People love the idea of having an adventurous color, but they don't put their money down.
Yeah, I actually disagree with that comment a bit. I agree with you that they're boring colors, because I think they're just safe bets. People worry about resale value.
Just looking here. I'm just going gray, black, blue, gray, white.
Red, yellow.
Yeah, but mostly gray.
Yeah.
And shades of gray and blue and black.
You know what? It's a safe bet. Somebody said Mazda came out with an aero gray color, and like, why does Mazda need another gray? Because people buy gray, and it's just another gray option for them to choose from. I do think some manufacturers do a great job with color. Like with Mazda, for example, in the lower trims, you can get a blue.
Mazda. Is there any other brand besides Mazda
that I like?
Yeah.
Yeah, we just said Mini. No, I like a lot. I like Porsche. I like BMW. I'm all about the drive. You guys know that about me. I like an engaging drive. And I know some people are about reliability, and that's okay. That's why we answer these questions, because everybody has different needs and wants. What drives you? Some people are driven by fuel economy. We are all about bright colored cars. This one in particular is actually white, so not exciting, but we didn't really have a choice when we bought it. The inventory was low, and we wanted a certain
If you
spec.
wanted the car, you didn't get to choose the color.
No, but our Volkswagen GTI is pomelo yellow, which is bright. And our Mazda MX-5 is red, and the Cayenne GTS is Nordic gold, so like an orangey color.
Yeah, but we drive so many new cars each and every week. We don't need to have sort of one car that is just our car and we have to live with it every day. We get variety based on everything else we drive. But I would suggest that people vote with their wallet. They're risk averse when it comes to resale value. I will say though, Andrea, on the color thing, you know our friend Howie?
Yes.
His brother, when he lived here in Vancouver, this was in the early 90s, he bought a Civic, and it was that teal green. Remember that color was really like big in the early 90s?
I liked it.
Teal green. Yeah, I didn't like it. I thought it was hideous. But I said, this is the way it's going to go. Oh, hello. I'm calling about your Honda Civic. What color is it? It's teal green. Okay. Yeah. Thanks very much. Okay. Bye-bye. And hang up.
Yeah. They don't like it.
And so I think that's the worry.
Yeah. I think it is the worry. I had a female viewer reach out and asking me, oh, I really like this color, but I'm worried about resale value. And I said, well, colors will affect resale value. There is no doubt about it. What are the colors of the rainbow for Porsche, Zach?
Oh, yeah. So we were on a Porsche event, and our PR rep, Patrick, is Canadian, but the other PR rep, she's originally from Germany, and they said, oh, we call it the German rainbow. And if you look at 911's not so much, but the German rainbow is like gray, black, white. And then maybe there's another one in there. And that's
silver.
Silver. Yeah, there you go. Silver. Silver, gray, black, white. That's what people buy.
So that's what they buy. That's what they want.
Are you going to squeeze one more in there?
What do you
Of course
think?
you are. Is it about Mazda?
We'll make it quick.
And let me just guess.
No.
Is it about Mazda?
It's about Volkswagen.
Okay. Okay. All right. Wait a second. All right. Bring it on.
Needing it. And I think Volkswagen does a great job with color myself. Needing a 3-row and leaning on a VW Atlas. Are they reliable? What trim would you recommend to get the most out of my money?
Well, reliability, Volkswagen generally isn't strong, but
No.
you know, I don't buy. I've said it many, many times. I don't buy cars like that. I buy cars because I like them, and
Yes.
if anything happens, I'll deal with it. That's the way I am with cars.
Yeah, we're both kind of that way. We buy the car because we like the car. So JD Power gives the Atlas a reliability score of 70 out of 100.
70 out of 100,
And
yeah.
Consumer Reports actually hasn't rated it,
Oh.
but you know, their general Volkswagen
Vibe is not
never good.
No.
So that is up to you. I find that these models from Volkswagen are hit and miss. Some have them and they say, wow, it's been so reliable. I absolutely love my vehicle. Others are saying, I will never buy a Volkswagen again. So keep that in mind. In Canada, the Highline model, we feel gets, you know, it's pretty good value. They get up in price, but you get all those extra features like a 360 camera, wireless charger, panel roof, driver's seat memory. That's going to cost you just under $61,000. And then in the US, the SEL trim for just over $48,000.
So you're basically talking top trim. Top trim.
No, one below the top trim.
Yeah. So in Canada, the best seller of the Atlas, whether it's the Cross Sport Cross, I was sure it up.
Cross Sport.
That and Buick. I can never remember them.
Well, we recently, our last question's coffee and cars, we're talking about Volvo and we're saying CX instead
I know.
of
We didn't even
XC.
know. We didn't even know it.
Do you know we watched that back and we still
Neither
didn't
one of us
catch
even
that.
caught it. And we're talking about Mazdas when we should be talking about
Volvos.
Volvos. Why they came up with XC90 and CX90? It's like, come on, people.
Well, they don't chat with each other, right? So they
yeah,
thought
but they have something called the internet.
know.
So what were we talking about?
we're talking about the Atlas and the about the top trim.
Yeah. So in Canada, the best seller in the Atlas family is the most expensive one.
Yep.
It's interesting. It's kind of counter to what you see in the rest of the market. I truly believe people buy the Volkswagen Atlas because they're like, I can get a German car cheaper than buying the other Germans, which are all luxury brands.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Volkswagen said. Instead of jumping into something like an Audi Q7 on that lower trim, why not get a fully loaded Atlas top trim?
And I think that's what people do.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to go. The thing about in Canada, you've got the Comfort line model, which is your base model, and then you've got the Atlas Peak edition.
Well, that's the one I'm showing is the Peak one.
Yeah, and that one's really cool. I mean, it gives you that kind of rugged outdoorsy look, but you don't get a lot more in that particular model, so you've got to jump one more level to get all the extras.
Just if you're tuning into the very end of this, first of all, thank you for watching to the very end.
Yes.
And Andrea has made a concerted effort
What have I done?
to not choose the RAV4 hybrid for questions.
Yes.
Because someone was complaining, is like, every single show you guys talk about the RAV4. And I wrote back and I said, well, it is the best-selling car in Canada and the United States, period. So that's why it comes up a lot. But Andrea's done a great job over the last couple of weeks of picking questions
Try my
that
hardest.
are not about the RAV4. Doesn't mean it's not going to come up again.
Yes.
But
And
like you picked an Atlas. That was creative.
Yes, and for those who did ask about the RAV4, should I get the RAV4 versus something else or the Crown Signia? I'm sorry, you did not make it this time around.
We're taking a beat. We'll be back. Don't worry. We'll
Taking
cover
a
all that
beat.
stuff. All right. So how do you get a question in?
Follow along on Instagram at motormouth_Andrea. Every Sunday morning I put a post out asking for questions. Once we gather them, the post is deleted and we start the show. Thanks for watching.
See you next time.